Hello, I'm Kenny McMillan, and welcome to Tool Talk. Today on Tool Talk, we are going to be talking about the Lumens VC-B10U webcam, which is a 12 megapixel half-inch censored f1.8 webcam with a field of view of 120 degrees, which is about the same as a 7mm lens on a Super 35 camera, so quite wide. Now, we are filming with the VC-B10U right now, and you may be thinking that's not terribly wide, and that is because I have punched in for your sanity. If we load the wide shot, you can see that at arm's length, you've got my whole wingspan and the majority of my office. This webcam is designed for offices, conference rooms, classrooms, distance learning, anything where you might need to see a lot of folks in the frame, or maybe you're just in a small space and you need a wide lens. There's plenty of reasons why you would want a camera like this. I will say that the thing that separates it from other webcams, aside from its wide field of view and large low aperture, is that it comes with this little remote, which allows you to do everything very plug and play. This is a USB 3 plug and play webcam. I've used it on my Chromebook and here on my desktop. Both work just fine. Every program I use saw it just fine. But the little remote here makes it so that you don't need any software to adjust anything. On the top here, you've got 6 preset buttons which allow you to save presets. So let's say you're sitting at a conference table and you want to highlight the fact that someone's talking, like Mr. Boat here. Maybe Mr. Boat's talking. So boom, you hit his little thingy over here, his little preset, and you get to listen to him. Go back to me, maybe go back to the whole group. How fast can this switch? Pretty fast. All right. So that's, probably what it's mostly designed for, is to highlight people speaking, but I had the thought that maybe if someone was watching set from a remote location and you had one of these set up, you could be like, I don't know how the communication part would go down, but if they were looking, you could direct their attention to the camera department or whatever it is. This camera can kick out a just under 4K image, but only at 10 frames per second, so I don't know how useful that's going to be necessarily. We are currently shooting 1080 at 30 frames per second, which is where I think most people will be. There is also 720 at 30 or 60 frames, and then a bunch of smaller resolutions that I don't think anyone's really concerned about, but they are all also at 30 frames. If you were going to be using this for streaming or something, that 720/60 might actually be just fine. Like I said, it has a maximum aperture of 1.8, which is pretty bright. I've actually got this room lit here with a light panel. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you what it is, but it's punching right into the ceiling. It's a 300 watt. And then I've got a little aperture light to try to make it look kind of nice, but this thing is closed down as dark as it'll go. If I bring it up to f1.8, we're probably gonna, just blow everything out. So if you're in a normally lit room, I'm looking a little shiny. If you're in a normally lit room like a conference room, just hitting up on the brightness will easily get you enough exposure for the people across the pond to see what y'all are talking about. So this is what the image looks like with all the lights turned off across the board, and this is still set to its darkest setting. If I brighten it up, you can see it is quite still decent. I mean, that is grainy as heck, but it doesn't look terrible. I'm not mad about it. It's just about sunset, and I've got my blinds drawn, so that is actually quite impressive. There actually is a little piece of diffusion there, but again, it's not direct light, it's northern facing light, whatever. So if I bring this down all the way down to its darkest, get rid of that grain so much, and put up this little old aperture light here, that the MC10 I think is replaced, but in any case, that's just a small light set to max. It's lighting me, and it still looks pretty good like that. Even if I were to just, let's see, what else could we do? We could do top light. Top light's a little intense, something like that. Anyway, just the one light even does a good job. But like I said, it seems to have like a little bit of an auto setting. It'll like bring up the room a bit. That's cool. Like an auto ISO maybe that I've. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty cool. I just figured that out with you, but even this looks good. So it is a quite capable little camera, even in less than ideal lighting situations. Now, the audio coming out of the VCB10U is not the best in the world, all things considered. Previously, I was recording on this blue snowball here, but it does get the job done. It's a set of microphones just built right into the unit, and even if I stand about 12 feet away or so, you should be able to hear me pretty well. I'll go demonstrate that now. Now, this is obviously not the greatest fidelity in the world, but you should be able to understand me just fine, and I am not talking much louder than I was seated there 12 feet closer. So someone at the back of the room should not have a problem getting their questions across to the folks across the pond watching you off of the lumens there. One thing that they've also added, besides the tilt and pan and zoom features that I've talked about, is a freeze button. So you can freeze it. Now, it doesn't freeze the audio, so I don't know how handy this is as a privacy feature, but it does have that button. So to save a preset, all you have to do is find your frame here. So we'll say we want to take a look at that. We want to take a look at that microphone over there. So that is as punched in as it'll go. That's about 12 feet away. And we're going to hit preset, and we'll make it 5. So I'm preset 1, as you can see. And then preset 3 is Mr. Boat. And then Mr. Microphone is 5. 1, very easy. There is a software that I haven't downloaded because I didn't need it, which apparently lets you have 64 presets. I can't imagine that's going to be something you need, but it is available. And so I just really like this remote, making everything super easy, super plug and play, and allows someone to conduct, the discussion or whatever visually with a simple remote. So that's quite nice. Now, I think the image coming out of this looks pretty good, but I will say that I was able to achieve this look in camera by using OBS. Now, I'm sure there's other software that will let you control the settings of your webcams, but I'm just using OBS to record this. And the settings within the Lumens webcam are quite robust. You've got gamma, contrast, saturation, white balance, brightness, full HSL controls, all that kind of thing, which was pretty impressive for a webcam. So I just went in to the OBS settings and changed everything so that it made it look the way I wanted. Straight out of camera, just plugging it in for the first time, the default settings are not cinematically minded, let's say, but they're not supposed to be. It's a webcam. So if all you need to do is see people on the other side of the screen, you can just plug it and not even worry about it. This obviously is a webcam, and that means it's intended for pretty much everyone with little to no tech knowledge required. But if you are technologically minded and can get into the settings there, you can make an image that looks quite pleasant and is, oddly enough, easy to grade-ish. Now, this webcam does cost $400, but I will say that it is one of the more full-featured webcams I've ever seen. I can't say I'm an expert on webcams, but I was impressed with this one. Going forward in our physically distanced society, good at-home production value is going to be something that is asked of us more and more. Now, there are obviously ways that you can use your cinema cameras or your DSLMs, DSLRs, plug that into your computer and really dial in your look with extra lights and stuff like that. But if you're the type of person who doesn't have that hardware capability, doesn't even know how to do it, a nice webcam is probably going to be the move for you. And I can say that having looked for one at the beginning of all this COVID business was kind of difficult because they were all sold out, and the ones that were available were like $250. Even today, they are pretty expensive, even for the lowest tier ones. So oddly enough, the $400 VCB10U is sort of priced more competitively now through no fault of their own. So anyway, that's it from me. That's it for Tool Talk. I hope you found this informative, and thank you for watching. Normally I would go somewhere after this, but I, once again, am stuck here. Anything for Kenny Talk? Oh, yeah, so kicking into Kenny Talk. I've got a new review coming up. It is the light panel that is currently lighting me. I won't tell you what brand it is or anything because I genuinely don't know if I can tell you. But it's a very cool fixture, 300-watt fixture that I'm thoroughly enjoying. And it's not lighting me directly. It's just punched into the ceiling. But it's got a lot of options, and I think a lot of you cinematographer types are going to really enjoy that review. So look forward to that on the next Tool Talk. And that's the end of Kenny Talk. Stupid. It's hot in here.